Hey guys, and we are back with the same game and yet another question. So this one goes out to uh couples and uh dating, I guess maybe I don't know. Depends on how long you've been together, but married couples in general that are dating just couples. So how do you feel about, let's say you've been, I don't know, in your relationship for 3 or 4 years. Now, when you got together, he promised to take care of you. He promised, okay, let's pose this one to married people because I see this a lot in married couples. So when you got together, he promised to take care of you. He promised to put the roof over your head. He promised to pay the bills. He promised, just to take care of you and the family in general. And as head of the household, he should. So, with that being said, years passed, and now you, as the female, you, as the wife, are all upset. You're all, just beside yourself because he doesn't spend time with you the way you think he should. He's constantly on his phone. He's constantly dealing with work. He's constantly, you know, doesn't have your attention. How do you deal with that? Because, I mean, kind of technically, that's what you wanted. I mean, you wanted somebody who was going to take care of you. I mean, you didn't want somebody who was going to throw you under the bridge. You didn't want somebody who was going to keep you in and out of the homeless shelter. You didn't want somebody who was going to keep you on the breadline. You kind of. I heard that. Did you hear that? It sounded like a gunshot, but then it sounded like a car backfiring too. Yeah, I'm talking to my son, guys. But I'm in making a video, but I bring y'all into it all the time, so I don't care. But I did hear that. It was sounded like it was going that way, but it was kind of weird because um, it sounded like a car on a flat tire, and then it sounded like a gunshot. So I think it was probably a backfire, or at least you would like to hope. So, love you. Okay, so anyway, getting back to that, you guys know that I'll bring my kids in because they're just, they come before all else. And I'm not going to stop my video because I'm in the middle of it and don't want to redo it. And I haven't learned how to edit in the middle of a video yet. So, but anyway, here we are. I digress. Back to the situation. I see this all the time where the female gets so upset because, oh, he doesn't pay enough attention to me. Oh, he works all the time. When he gets home, he's too tired to conversate. And it's like, I understand wanting to spend time with your husband. I lost quite a few moments in time with my husband, and that's why I'm posing this question because I see different people handle it different ways. And I just kind of went in stride because it was my duty as a wife to support my husband. And, they say that the family's on the front line too. And so my husband gave up a lot of holidays, birthdays, anniversaries, so that he could be at work. And he went to work to support the family and keep food on the table and a roof over our heads. So, as much as I wanted him here at that time, it was really not feasible for us. And I didn't give him a hard time about it because it would have made no sense. I didn't want him to downgrade the job he was doing or the hours he was doing or take a different shift, because I know the shift that he had was absolutely the shift that he wanted. It was the time frame that he was happiest with, that he was most comfortable with. I would have personally, if I'd had it my way over the years, I would have personally preferred him working day shift and then coming home in the afternoon and having the rest of the afternoon and the evening with us before he went to work the next morning. But he was more comfortable with um, working the evening to overnight shift. And so that worked for him, and I supported that, and it worked out for me. And the hardest thing that I had to deal with was the lack of time that I got to spend with him, but I knew he was doing it um, for the sake of the family, and I knew he was doing it out of love, and I knew he was doing it out of responsibility, which was to take care of the family. And there were times over the years that I felt like he sometimes prioritized the job over his family, and that there were times I kind of felt like he was rude to us or he was mean to us because he was in a hurry to get out the door to get to work. And it's like you're being mean to the people that you're hurrying out the door to get to this place so you can support those people. Or when you come home from the place that you're at to support those people, you come home and you're mean to them because you've had a bad day and you're taking it out on them. But these are the people you love, and that's why you were there in the first place. And it's like, so I had a hard time with that over the years. And I did try to explain this to my husband. And so now we are both recently saved. And by recently, I mean within the last 3 years, we've come to have a very close relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ. And we are changing our views and opinions on things, because you will find that you're giving up a lifetime of memories with the people you love to support the people you love. And it's weird because now um my husband is such a different man. He's such a different man. Uh he's 3 jobs later, because that job we learned the hard way. That particular job that he was at for 12 years, that he missed out on holidays, birthdays, anniversaries, he was loyal to. They would call him in because he lived, like 5 minutes from the place, and they would call him in the middle of the night because he is an engineer. So they would call him in, and he was always there for them. But this place fired him because they decided, they would rather bring in their son and their family members, and that's a whole nother story. But um, he learned the hard way, as did I, that all these years, uh, sometimes you were rude to me, sometimes you were rude to the kids. You gave up holidays, you gave up birthdays, you gave up anniversaries. Um, sometimes even taking on overtime for people who were going on vacation with their families, or people who were going on holidays with their families. I always said to him, it's fine. We could use the money, go ahead. And so, money, not just on his part, but I guess on my part too, was prioritized over our family. And those are memories that we can't get back. I have memories of, Halloweens that he wasn't able to be there. And I don't fault him. This is not about blame. This is about, the question is at what point do you stop bashing him and try to support him? Because I've done that, and that's what I did. And now he has come to see, and he's apologized so many times. And again, this isn't a blame game, and I never, I never, it was what it was. And though I missed making those memories with him, as far as like, there were certain Halloweens he couldn't do with us, and there were certain Christmases he couldn't do with us, and then there were some that he actually was here, and we loved and cherished those. But I've seen women who would absolutely just, I mean, 100% tear a man down, who goes to work, pays her bills, and ask her to do nothing more. And this is what I love about my husband. He did not ask me to get a job. Matter of fact, I went to get a job a few years back, and he didn't want me to. He did not want me to work because I was having physical issues at the time, and because I am a little bit older in the way of age goes. And I know people are like, "Oh, don't be ageist." Well, let's be realistic. You don't want to be ageist, but you want to be realistic. People who can still do the job that they're doing at 80, allow them to do it. Let them do it. But when you physically can't do it, it is safer for a job and for you and for your family that you do retire. It's just safer. But I digress. That back to the topic, which is, how do you handle it? I mean, I know people, seriously, I know people, females, who just don't give two rats behind about how their husband eats during the day. They don't give two rats behind about how their husband might get home from work. All they care about is when he gets home, pay attention to me. It's all about me, me, and me. And they get mad at him should he make it about him at any given point. And I don't understand that. And it's like, I get up at 4 a.m. to make sure my son is 19 and he goes to work too. And I get up at 4 a.m. to make sure that his uniform is clean, to make sure that he will have breakfast if he so chooses. Some mornings he wants it, some mornings he don't. I will make sure his lunch is packed because I make it and pack it. Um, and I just want his morning to go smoothly so the rest of his day can go smoothly. And this is the same love and respect that I give to my husband. Now, after, like I said, I get up at 4 a.m. And after I get my son out the door, actually around about 8:30 a.m., I don't go back to bed, because at that point I have a Bible study to conduct. I have to get things done in preparation for my husband, who has to be out the door next. So I am either cooking his dinner and or his breakfast, or I am getting his lunch prepared to pack, and so to make sure that he has food and breakfast and lunch for his day. And I want to make sure that his clothes are clean. And sometimes I remember to get him an outfit together and put it out for him, a work outfit. And sometimes I don't. And I ain't gonna lie, he used to complain about it, but he doesn't anymore. Now he just goes on and gets his own outfit because he can see that I'm in the middle of doing something as well. But there used to be a time that he would fuss at me about, "Where's my outfit? You didn't get my outfit. Go get my outfit." And it was like, I felt like I was more of the maid than I was the wife because he spent so much time at work. And again, this is a few years ago now. Like I said, we've both become saved and have a closer walk with Jesus Christ, and we both know and understand now how we're supposed to treat each other, how we're supposed to treat our children, um, and I mean, we don't even have children anymore. We have adult children. So, my youngest child at this point is 19. So everybody's grown. I have girls that live outside of the house with their own kids and family, and my boys still live at home. But we've just come to understand that it's done differently than the way we did it. And even before I was saved, I never quite understood the woman who would get so upset about the man who was working his ever loving behind off to take care of her. I mean, you would have levels of like just of women being ticked off because he every time you turn around he works, and then if he can get overtime he'll work overtime. But you're the same person who every time you turn around you're shopping on, whatever site it is you want to go shopping on. And then, you're buying arts and craft supplies, or you're buying you know, new outfits or new purses, or you're buying stuff for your animals, you're getting and collecting animals. It's like every time you turn around, when payday comes, you've got no problem cashing that check. You've got no problem spending that check. But hold on, guys. Emailing my husband as we speak because he's at work right now. All right. So he's at work right now and he just sent me an email. But anyway, it's kind of that whenever whenever that paycheck comes in, you're ready to spend it. Um, but you're not willing to let go of him long enough for him to go make it. And the sad part is he really is just going to make it for you to spend it. But you're mad at him for that. And you can't find your way into making sure that he's got lunch money and or a packed lunch. You can't see your way into making sure that he has a hot breakfast. You know, don't want to inconvenience you, but this is what you signed up for. You see, you signed up for a man who would take care of you. You signed up for a man that will look out for you. You signed up for I'm assuming, you know, for better or worse. I'm assuming that just like any other female, you were hoping for the best because I don't know any woman who gets married and you're hoping for the worst. I don't know anybody that goes into a marriage thinking, well, I don't think this bum's going to get a job. I don't think this loser's going to take care of me. I don't think this loser's going to provide for the kids. So, X nay on having kids. And if you came with kids, dude, if you came with kids, now here's the thing, and this is a whole nother topic. But I'm gonna blend it in with this topic because I came with kids and I was young and my husband was young and he didn't know anything about being a father. So for the first few years, we were two big kids with a few little kids. And you know, it's just even in the beginning, from the very beginning, this man did everything he could to take care of me and my kids that he's got no blood relation to. Hold on, let my cat out. Now, he's got no blood relations to these kids, but I dare you, after 20 years we've been married, I dare you to walk up and tell him those aren't his kids. I dare you. These same kids that he provided for 20 years, you know, for their childhood, these same kids that he got off of food stamps, these same kids that he got out of public housing. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's where he found me and my kids. You know, and this is where a lot of these men find these women and their kids is on food stamps and in low income housing or public housing or whatever it is you call it in your state. And rental assistant housing. Um and you sign up for a partner that you hope is going to lift some of the burden off of you. And when he attempts, you beat him down because he's not doing it the way you want him to do it. And my question is how much do you lift him up? How much does he lift you up? Because he's doing what he's doing to take care of you and the kids. And I'm not going to say you and your kids because let me tell you something. When he signs on to be your partner, your husband, your whatever, significant other, whatever you call him, those kids are now his. And if he doesn't see it that way, my friend, you with the wrong person. But if you are not uplifting him and you're not making his day go smoother, see, here's what the deal is. He came in and he's trying his best to make your life better. but you ain't doing nothing to make his life better. You're doing everything you can to let him know that you're still miserable. You're doing everything that you can to pull him down to where you were. You're pulling him, you're doing everything you can to get him to join the food stamp pack, to stay in the low income. Instead of letting him reach in and pull you out, you trying to pull him down. He's trying to pull you up. You trying to pull him down. So I guess this is turning into more of a statement, but yet that's a question too. How many of you signed up for a man that you thought was going to have you under the bridge, that was going to be a loser, that wasn't going to help you raise your child, wasn't going to help you, it wasn't going to merge into your family and become a part of? If all you want to do is abuse that person and hold it against them for not doing what you think they should do, then again, you with the wrong person. Okay. And so, what are you doing to lift it up, to lift him up, to lift up the situation? Because especially when you first come together, like I said, me and my husband have been married for 20 years. And I can promise you the first five were beginning stages of building a forever relationship. Then the second five were like, okay, we've learned each other. We've learned each other's faces. We've learned somewhat of each other's aggravation buttons. We've learned uh, uh, about each other. And you would think that you would do this in the first five, but you don't. You spend the first five acting cutesy tootsy and in the honeymoon state. So it's by the second five that you lose the cutesy tootsy, you learn each other's quirks, you learn each other's aggravation buttons, you learn each other's tragedies, childhood tragedies, you learn each other's likes and dislikes. And then by the third set of five, by the 15-year mark, is when you start learning, you know, this is the one. And see, people don't get that in the beginning. You go get happily, slappily married, but in your mind, everybody, and that's what's wrong with America today. Everybody thinks, well, divorce is an option. If I don't like this, I'm out of here. But by the 15-year mark, you're like, whew, now that we know each other, now that we've got each other's back, now that there's been that situation that has proven you're not going to leave me, or that you would take care of me when times are bad. Now, you know, and I can honestly say my husband had me from probably around year three, because I learned real quick that this man is going to take care of me. And I don't know why. I don't, you know, I didn't know why. Yeah, I was with, I knew him for a month, and we got married, and I knew right away he was going to take care of me no matter what. And I wasn't going to do anything to hinder that because I knew as a man and him being head of the household, I knew that's what he was supposed to do. And I knew me being the female, all I was supposed to do was stand like this. That's all I was supposed to do. And I'm not praising him, but I'm lifting him up. This is him. This is my Lord. So don't confuse the two. This is me lifting up my husband who lifts up me and my children and my family and my household. This is me lifting up, praising, and loving my Lord. So, with that being said, I knew even back then that he was going to take care of us, and I couldn't do anything to hinder that. And I didn't treat him like crap. You know, he'd come in, and let me tell you something. He would work third shift, and he would come in and get on his computer and play his game. And it didn't bother me because I was already in bed sleeping. I mean, he, even to this day, he gets home. Um, he gets off at 11. He gets home around to 11:30 ish, 11:45. I'm already in bed. I'm already good night to the world. But he comes home. He gets on his computer. He stays there until probably 2 in the morning. That's how he unwinds from his day. And then he goes to bed, and I don't see him when I get up, other than laying beside me in the bed. But we don't get to spend a whole lot of time together during the day or during the week. The weekends are ours, and the weekend are the Lord's. And we do church every Sunday, and every Saturday we hang out, and when we can, we go out to eat together, me and him, and then when we really can, we take the boys with us because they still live here, and you know, we just enjoy each other as we can when we can, and we don't spend the time that we don't have tearing each other down, and that's what I don't understand about couples that do that. I mean, I get husbands. Let me tell you something. Learn right now that you are working, unless you're working for yourself, and then if you are, then you for real need to take time with your wife and your kids because you're not going to get these years back. I've been with my husband, like I said, for 20 years. Um, Only one of my children is his biological child. But I guarantee you, from the time that he was there, he didn't miss any time with them outside of being at work. And mistakes were made over the years. Like I said, in the beginning, I'm not talking of use of our children by any means, but we were two big kids with a few little kids. And therefore, you know, we probably didn't we I allowed my children to be expressive without being disrespectful, and a lot of people didn't like that. I had one time a lady asked me, "Oh, you let your children drink coffee?" I said, "Oh, you let your children drink soda?" Somebody explained the difference. The average can of soda has just as much sugar and caffeine as the average normal cup of coffee. And I will tell you right now that as my children grew up, uh, I've got four adult children that I honestly don't think any one of them drinks coffee. I know for a fact three of them don't. I'm not really sure about the other one, but I would probably guess she doesn't, but she might. But I know for a fact my oldest daughter doesn't, my oldest son doesn't, and my youngest one doesn't. Now, my middle daughter, she may not, I don't know. But even if she does, drinking coffee is not a horrible thing, you know. And the funny thing is my oldest daughter doesn't care for soda either, and my oldest son, he likes his soda in moderation, and the other one's crazy about it. So, but again, I digress back to the topic that do when you sign up to get married or to have a lifelong partner, you want them to take care of you. And when they do, then it doesn't look like what you see on TV. I mean, it doesn't look like the Huxtables. It doesn't look like Family Matters. It doesn't look like Family Ties. It doesn't look like um, Annie if you're in a foster home. It doesn't look like Punky Brewster. I mean, people have to go to work, and I would personally, I would rather uplift, take care of, and do everything I can to love and support the person that's going to love and support me. And I mean, that's just that, I don't understand the person that's going to make sure there's food on my table. I'm going to make sure there's food in his lunch bag. The person who pays my light bill, I'm going to make sure that he has a comfortable bed to sleep in the middle of the day so he can feel okay and be okay going to work the next day. The person who makes sure that my water stays hot and that I can take a nice comfortable bath, I'm going to make sure he has hot water when it's time for him to take a shower by not taking a bath or not taking a shower 30 to 45 minutes before it's time for him to take a shower to leave for work. You know, it's just consideration. I mean, I signed up to have somebody in my life and in my family that was going to take care of me. Why wouldn't I want to take care of him? And I get it. I get it. I get it, ladies. I get it. You know, oh, I want more of him. I want more time with him. You know, I get that. Believe me, I get that. There were so many times over the years that I would tell my husband, he's like, oh, work called. I got to go back. And I'm like, man, let them figure it out. Because he had worked all day and he'd come home and they'd call him 45 minutes after he walked in the door, just sat down, just got his work boots off, was just getting comfy in his chair. And the phone rings. Hey, man, can you run over and check blah, blah, blah? He's like, yeah, let me go do that. And he puts his boots back on and he puts his uniform. And it's like, let them do it. And he's like, yeah, but I'm right here. And instead of beating him down and not letting him do it, it was a choice he wanted to do because it was 3 hours of pay or 2 hours of pay. And just for him being there for 20 minutes to, check whatever. And a lot of times I didn't want him going back because, not because of me, because I was on my way to bed because the day had ended. Like I said, he gets home at 11:30, 12 o'clock. And, but my care and my concern was for him. Like, dude, you've just worked a whole day. You're tired. And I want you to rest, and I spend a good part of my day um planning for the next day. Like, what am I going to put in their lunch? And when I say there, I'm talking about my adult son too. And I give him just as much love and consideration because he helps out with bills. He helps pay bills, and he takes after his father. Now my oldest son isn't working, and that's a family choice that works out for us at the moment because he helps me out around the house, and so he's here, and I appreciate that because my oldest son takes care of the kitchen and other odd things that I might need help with around the house that I'm physically unable to do. But it's just, why be with somebody who you signed up to be with by marrying them and then tear them down for doing what they promised to do, for not supporting them, not looking out for them, not taking care of them in what they said they would do. I don't understand that. I mean, if would you do that to your child? If your child signed up to be in the honors class and then they had to study, and they just had to study, and they had to be at the library, and they couldn't be there all the time that you wanted them to be there, but you knew that they were trying to better themselves, and they were trying to better the family name, and they were trying to bring honor to themselves and honor to the family, and they were just trying to grow and do things better. Would you stop them from doing that? And don't tell me, oh, that's different, that's different. No, it's not. Because I want to spend time with my children too. I want to spend time. I want to build memories. I want to have those moments with my children that are grown. Sometimes I hate to see my son go out the door in the morning just as much as I hate to see my husband go out, because he's got to be to work, so we have to cut our conversation short. And I don't get to see my son that much anymore because he gets up at 7:30 a.m. and I'm busy doing what he needs to do from my end to get him out the door, making sure his clothes are clean, making sure his lunch is packed, making sure the his breakfast is made if he wants it that day. And you know what he does? He gets up for me and he takes the dog out because I hate going out in the cold. I'm from I'm from the South. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. And so cold there is not like it is cold here. And so he does that before he goes to work, and then he takes the dog out, he gets in the shower, and if he got time, he eats. And in between, me and him are just carrying on a conversation of a lifetime in a few moments as he's on his way to work. And I know you can see, cause it hits, man, it hits. I miss the time with him that I had when he was a kid. But people grow, and it's my job to to uplift and to inspire that growth, not just in him, but in my husband as well. It's up to me as the foundation, as the glue, and to uplift. If you don't do anything but sit around and tear your children down or tear your husband down, if all you do is send him out the door, not wanting to come home, why would he want to come spend time with you? See, I've learned over the years that you may not have all your time together, but the time you do have together, are you making it count? And the rest of the time, you can make that count too. I haven't done it in a while, and I need to go back to it. But I used to slip notes in my husband's lunch bag because I've been packing his lunch for years because he's been working to support this family for years. And I've never said it was easy, but it was done out of love, his end and mine. And I used to put notes in his lunch reminding him that he was loved and that he was appreciated and that he was thought of throughout the day. And so, again, my question is, and then I'm gonna wrap this up because I know it's getting late. Plus, he's texting me right now, and I don't want to ignore him. Because, like I said in these videos before, they come first. So, I'm gonna wrap this up with saying, you signed on to a man who promised to take care of you, and he signed on to a woman who promised to love and support him. If he's trying to uphold his end, are you upholding yours? Because I guarantee you, things will work out. Things would work out. And I'm not going to say you won't get aggravated with each other in between. But when there's love on both ends, something Dr. Phil always says, and I'm not a real big Dr. Phil fan because, like I tell my husband all the time, I watch Dr. Phil. I used to anyway. I don't too much anymore. But I used to watch Dr. Phil, not for Dr. Phil, because his advice was as good as something you'd read in a Chinese fortune cookie. But his guests were so entertaining. His guest was just so doggone entertaining. But one thing I did catch that Dr. Phil said one time was, you know, and he said, and it's funny because it applies to your children, your life, and everything else. But Dr. Phil said one time, you don't reward bad behavior, and don't uphold stupidity. And I've always thought of those two things. It's like, you can't. And this is another way. You can't change what you don't acknowledge. So, stop tearing each other down. Because at the end of the day, if he's doing what he promised, then you should be doing what you promised and uphold each other and love each other all the time and encourage each other all the time. But remember this, husbands, don't mistreat your family and your wife for a job or over a job that will replace you before dark today. See, we learned that the hard way because, like I said, there were times when the kids were little and we had pets and um, we'd be running around, moving around the house, and my husband was trying to get ready for work, and sometimes we'd get in the way, and sometimes it would get crazy, and he would fuss, and you know, and I'm like, dude, you're fussing at us to go be with people you don't even like. So think about how you're treating the people, husbands. Think about how you're treating the people that you're going to the job to support because you're going to be late because that's your choice. Because if you didn't wait till the last minute to do what you had to do, you wouldn't be fussing and cussing to get out the door. And ladies, remember this: you signed up to have this man take care of you and y'all's kids. And I say it again: when he comes into your household, to your life, to your family, those kids are now his kids, just like you are his wife. And y'all are a family. So you signed him up to take care of you and y'all's kids. And he signed up to have you love, support, and uphold him so he could do that. He signed up to have you make his day a little bit better. And that's something else I got from Dr. Phil. To say I didn't watch him for him very much, I did catch a few of his sayings. And so I look at life on how can I make my son's day a little bit better? How can I make my husband's day a little bit better? And I feel like they look at me the same way. See, when you love somebody and you support somebody, you don't have to worry about taking care of you because they will. And when you're taking care of them, they don't have to worry about taking care of themselves. They can take care of you. And that's what it's about. And that's what it's supposed to be about. So my question is how many of you take care of your husband and how many of your husbands take care of you? Now I'm gonna end this one and I'm gonna get over to my husband and see what he's texting about. So you guys, again, I haven't played the game very much, but there it is. And because I always am passionate about what I'm talking about, so it's hard for me to have these conversations and to play the game. And that is what it is. Maybe one day I'll be able to do both. But for now, I'm just really passionate about what I'm talking about. So, all right, I'm going to end that there. Guys, have a good night. And again, think about when your partner comes home, how you going to treat them. And then, how do you want to send them off to work the next day? Do you want to send them off feeling like crap? Do you want to send them off feeling like they don't want to come home? You know, what would you want to come home to? How would you want to leave feeling? All right, guys. You guys think hard about that. Comment below. This one's going on YouTube and Facebook. So I'm going to wrap this up. And you guys have a good night.